It's time for the podcast. Yeah, the podcast is starting.
What's a podcast?
It's all gonna be alright in the end. It's gonna be alright. And if you've got some worries, my dear little friends, please rest your busy minds, because it's finally time for stories from now and then.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Stories from Now and Then. My name is Captain Blunderface, and we're back in the old library. We've returned to the bastion of bygone book borrowing. Deprecatus is here, of course, and we just set down our groceries because we stopped to get some on the way over. Yeah, I think that's a perfectly fine amount of bananas. They're such a good deal. So what? It's like 4 bunches of bananas. We will eat that many bananas. I eat a ton, and then you always love making banana bread and banana pancakes with the ripe ones. So that's also why I buy so many. Okay, well, maybe it is more like 8 bunches of bananas. But before we split too many hairs on produce rationing, we have a shout out for William, who is 7 years old and is from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. William loves karate and listening to stories. So William, thanks so much for listening, and today's story is for you. Oh, and it looks like we just got a message from our sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by the all-new Stories from Now and Then coloring book companion, with which you can color along with the stories as you listen to them. To find out more, go to storiesfromnowandthen.com. And with that, Deprecatus and I are thrilled to pass the mic off to Nicola for today's true story.
Oh, it's a good one today, Captain. It's another true story, and it's going to be very American. So, in honor of that, I am going to do my best to pronounce certain words as Americanly as possible. If it makes you laugh, that's okay. I like making people laugh. This is the story of the boy in the yellow tuxedo, Jesse and the Savannah Bananas. 'Cause I would normally say bananas, but just for today, I'm going to say bananas. Okay, let's start. Once upon a time, not so very long ago, in a small town called Scituate on the shores of Massachusetts, there lived a young baseball player named Jesse Cole. Jesse loved baseball. There are photographs of him, just 3 years old, throwing baseballs with all his might. He practiced pitching until his arms ached. He knew every rule by heart. And when he was old enough, he went to a college called Wofford down in South Carolina to play Division I baseball alongside the best college athletes in the country. This was his dream coming true. If he was good enough and lucky enough, he might make it all the way to the big leagues. But then, one terrible day, something inside Jesse's shoulder tore. Pop! Just like that. The doctors said he could no longer pitch. His playing days were over. Jesse was just a young man, barely more than a boy, and already his greatest dream lay shattered at his feet. Instead of giving up and turning away from baseball forever, he stayed at college and tried something new. He took classes in theatre. He learned about putting on shows, about entertaining people, about making audiences laugh and gasp and cheer. And slowly, Jesse realized something wonderful. He loved putting on a show just as much as he loved playing baseball. What if, he thought to himself, what if I could put those two things together? When Jesse graduated, he got a job with the Gastonia Grizzlies, a baseball team owned by a man named Ken Silver. The team was, unfortunately, failing. Hardly anyone came to the games. The stadium was old and shabby. The team was losing money. Mr. Silver needed someone who could think differently, someone who could imagine things that had never been done before. "Jesse," said Ken, "you're only 23 years old, and this is a big gamble, but I think you might be just crazy enough to make something special happen here." So Jesse became the general manager of the Gastonia Grizzlies. Only a few hundred fans showed up to games. It was a mess. But Jesse had an idea. "We're no longer going to be just a baseball team," he told everyone. "We're going to be a circus. It's going to be all about entertainment." People thought he was absolutely bonkers. A circus at a baseball game? Who ever heard of such a thing? But Jesse didn't care what people thought. He had players do choreographed dances between innings. He held a grandma beauty pageant. Some of these ideas failed spectacularly, but some of them worked. And when they worked, people talked. They told their friends, they brought their families. Slowly, game by game, season by season, more people started coming. First, they doubled attendance. Then, they doubled it again. Jesse saw that people didn't just want to watch baseball. They wanted to be silly, be zany, and be surprised. They wanted to go home and tell their friends, "You won't believe what I saw at the ballpark tonight." One day, Jesse met a young woman named Emily who worked for another minor league baseball team. They fell in love. And one day, Jesse put on a bright yellow tuxedo and he proposed to Emily right there on the baseball field. Emily surprised Jesse afterward with a trip to an old, beautiful stadium in Savannah, Georgia. The stadium was called Grayson Stadium, and it was old and grand. When they watched the game that night, the stands were nearly empty, but Jesse and Emily saw that stadium full of potential. So Jesse and Emily put all their money together and borrowed a lot of money, and they bought the rights to own a brand new baseball team in a collegiate summer league and lease the old stadium in Savannah, Georgia. Now came a most important decision: what to name the team. They held a contest and received 1,000 suggestions. People suggested the Spirits, the Ports, the Anchors. Then a Savannah woman named Lynn Moses suggested something that made Jesse's eyes light up. "Bananas," she said. "Call them the Bananas." "Bananas?" people asked. "Bananas? You can't name a baseball team after a fruit? That's ridiculous. You'll never sell a single ticket." But Jesse loved it because it was different and bold. Because when you heard the name Savannah Bananas, you smiled before you could stop yourself. On February 25th, 2016, they announced the team name. The news spread like wildfire. CBS covered it, NBC covered it, Sports Illustrated covered it, ESPN called it Logo of the Year. Suddenly, everyone was talking about the Savannah Bananas. On opening night, the stadium sold out. Every single seat filled. But selling out one game wasn't enough. Jesse needed to make every element of the game special and unforgettable. So he and his team created something they called Fans First. Everything, and I mean everything, was designed to make fans happy. Fans First meant no extra fees on tickets. None. If a ticket cost $20, you paid $20. Not $20 plus $5 in fees plus $3 for parking plus $2 for this and that. Just $20. Fans First also meant free parking, free programs, and all-you-can-eat food included in your ticket. At the games, players danced between every inning. Banana costumes were everywhere. And Jesse wore his yellow tuxedo to every single game. It became his signature look. The Savannah Bananas sold out their second game. They sold out their third. By the end of that very first season, they had sold out most of the games they played. And in the years that followed, they sold out every single game, season after season after season. But Jesse wasn't finished yet. He had an even bigger idea. Baseball games are too slow, he said. They take too long. People get bored. What if we created a whole new kind of baseball? What if we made it faster, more exciting, more fun? So, in 2018, Jesse began testing out something brand new. Banana ball. He tried the rules out at first in front of just a handful of people. 2 years later, in 2020, Banana Ball played its very first official game with real fans in the stands cheering it on. In Banana Ball, there are rules nobody ever imagined. If you step out of the batter's box, it's a strike. If you bunt the ball, you're out. If a fan catches a foul ball off the batter's out. Games must finish in 2 hours, no exceptions. There are no walks allowed, no mound visits to talk to the pitcher. The game keeps moving, much faster than a traditional baseball game. Some baseball purists were horrified. "This isn't real baseball," they'd say. But children loved it, families loved it. People who had never cared about baseball before suddenly couldn't get enough of it. The Savannah Bananas started touring the country, playing Banana Ball in stadium after stadium. They played at Fenway Park in Boston. They played at baseball stadiums in Houston and Philadelphia and Cleveland. They even played at football stadiums where 80,000 people came to watch. 80,000! A wait list formed of people wanting tickets. Into the millions, more than 3 million people waiting for a chance to see the Savannah Bananas play. There's something else about Jesse and Emily that makes their story even more beautiful. During the pandemic in 2020, when everyone was staying home, Emily learned that there were 400,000 children in America without permanent homes. 400,000 children waiting in foster care for families to love them. Emily read a book that said, everything is figure-outable, and she thought, even though we're busy, even though we have a young son, even though we run a baseball team, we can do this. We can help these children. So Jessie and Emily became foster parents. They opened their home to children who needed them. They even adopted 2 of the children they fostered. And they created something called Bananas Foster, a charity to help the foster care community. At every Savannah Bananas game now, foster families are honored and celebrated. Jessie and Emily use their success to make the world a little bit kinder. Today, the Savannah Bananas play in packed stadiums across America. Jessie still wears his yellow tuxedo to every game. The players dance, the crowds cheer. Children still leave the ballpark telling their parents, "That was the best night ever." You know, I've seen videos of the Savannah Bananas, and I really like their dancing, but I would love to see it in person one day. I think it would be so special. And I love this story of Jessie and Emily because I think it shows us that even though we love things the way Jessie loved baseball, we can also love more than one thing. He discovered that he loved entertainment as well, and he was able to put together the things that he loved and make them into something really special. Together, Jessie and Emily have had some amazing ideas to make people laugh, to make people feel cared for, and to help so many children. These are 2 Americans that really inspire me, and I hope they inspire you too. Let's all get a bit more creative, a bit more kind, and maybe a bit more silly. Okay, bye-bye bananas. Bananas? I don't even know how to say it anymore.
I think they both sound great. Well, thank you so much, Nicola, for today's story, and I think I smell some banana bread baking right now. Deprecatus, is there even an oven in this building? Yeah, this is great. Thanks for making these. See, you always use up the bananas that I buy. It's because I buy too many? But I always buy a lot because you like to bake with them. You really think it's too much? Uh-oh. We might have to unravel a little bit of a banana buying and baking cycle here. Remember, you can always hit the follow button or add to your podcast library so that you never miss a future episode. And also, we love doing shout-outs and we can surprise your friends with them. Stories from Now and Then is narrated by the amazing Nicola Ward, music by Captain Blunderface, and today's true story was written and adapted for the Old Library by Nicola Ward and Evan Wiebe. Make sure to stay yellow out there, everybody, and we will see you all next time on
Stories from Now and Then.